Through the cricketing ages, the West Indian cricketers have been immensely popular in India. And of course, in the Caribbean, the Indians too have been celebrated. That bond has only grown stronger and closer since the advent of the IPL. Now, with the India-West Indies series coming up, we've seen those ads on television where Rohit Sharma and Kieron Pollard, the two long-time Mumbai Indians teammates, seem to have kept their friendship aside in order to compete hard and fair. But when we look closely at those ads, we can only get a sense of camaraderie and friendship, and that is what India and West Indies cricket is all about. Hello and welcome to Latestly. My name is Nishad, and let us look back through history at some heartwarming tales from India and West Indies cricket. Let's go back to 1962 when India toured the Caribbean, and during one of the side matches, the captain Nari Contractor was felled by a bouncer by Charlie Griffith, and he was in critical condition. What happened was that a few Indian players donated blood in order to keep Contractor alive and stable through those very critical hours, but one more man stood up, and that was Frank Worrell, the West Indian statesman and captain, a leader who's known for his legendary status. Worrell also donated blood, and ultimately Contractor healed from his injuries and of course is still living, and he's very fit and fine today. But in memory of Frank Worrell, at the Eden Gardens, the Cricket Association of Bengal celebrates the Frank Worrell Day on its foundation day in February, and there are blood donation drives that are held in his honor. Fast forward 5 years later, in 1967, let me tell you two tales which I have been lucky to hear from the people who were involved in them themselves. First and foremost, Ajit Wadekar. Ajit Wadekar was making his debut at Mumbai, and Gary Sobers, who was already a West Indian legend by then, noticed that this youngster had a torn pair of shoes. So he walks over to Wadekar, asks him his shoe size, and later that same evening, he drops a brand new pair of shoes at Wadekar's residence. Now remember, Sobers had come to Bombay a few times, but he still took the pains to find out Wadekar's address, went there and delivered those shoes to Wadekar's mother. Why? Because Wadekar was making his test debut the next day, and Sobers wanted him to start very well at the biggest stage. After the Mumbai test, the two teams moved to Chennai, or Madras as it was known then. Chandu Borde was one of India's main batsmen through the 1960s, and he was batting very well in Chennai, and one of the deliveries by Charlie Griffith again just grazed past his hair, and Borde did go on to get 100 that day. Rohan Kanhai, one of the main batsmen of the West Indies team, came to Borde that night and said, let's go and celebrate this 100. And Borde was like, okay, let's go and do that. And then Kanhai told him this. He said, I want to celebrate this 100 because you are alive today. And he was referring to that one ball that grazed past Borde's head. Had it been a little lower, who knows, it could have been something really bad, as we had seen 5 years before that incident in the Caribbean. So friends, this is what India and West Indies cricket is all about. And with this series to start, all we can hope for is some good moments, of course, but cricket which will be very entertaining.